I repeat, it's not from organizers. Of course, in case that the arbiters get no stipend, I understand that this goes to organizers. But the idea is, this is a contribution from arbiters, not from organizers. And this is only 100 euros.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, a couple of things. One, as this proposal, it's not clear in the minutes what the formal proposals are. It's been mentioned that this has been discussed, but the way I read these minutes, it still contains a proposal to actually charge the fees for various tournaments. As this imposes a potential cost either on a federation or organisers, can I ask the Chairman that we do take a formal vote on the acceptance of this report, or otherwise?
Yes. Any other comment?
This is just a guidelines, or will it be compulsory, obligatory to all events? Especially I'm thinking of events in Africa. Most of the time we have problems of having organizers. Our events are mostly organized by federations, and we don't have, unfortunately, the means to compensate the arbiters. If you agree, then we do it according to the regulations of our events, depending on the events. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to mention that all commissions' work is appreciated. We have many chairpersons who are doing a lot of work. But I would like to take this opportunity to specially mention this arbiter commission. Probably it will be followed by the next commission, which is coming after trainers, which is coming later. The amount, the work that they are doing is really enormous, and we see the quantity of seminars that they are holding. I was watching some seminars, I got some material. The contribution that the chairman is giving to us, for instance, the World Championship Commission regarding arbiters, and I think should be mentioned that the level of work that this commission is doing. One point that actually I raised in the executive board concerning the language which seminars are taken when we discuss the official languages of FIDE. To avoid time, I'm ready to discuss it privately with Mr. Makropoulos and Mr. Nikolopoulos. But as it has been done yet, I am just obliged to bring it here just to take a decision. The problem is that it's not even written, but there is an interpretation of the Commission that seminars should be done in official, only on official FIDE language. It's an interpretation of them. So there is an absurd situation that we are facing, for instance, that there is a seminar which was conducted in this case in Israel, but it can be in another country, in the local language, because all participants speak local language, and it is not recognized. And the lecturers were international arbiters, Mr. Burstein, myself, and it is not recognized because it took place in Hebrew. So I don't see the logic of this. I can understand when you make an exam, okay, it should be in one of the official languages, usually English. This because your international titles and so forth. But the lectures given to Israelis by Israelis lecturers who are international arbiters, what is the logic not to recognize such a seminar by the Commission? Thank you. So I would like to have either an answer or whatever, a meeting to discuss this.
Thank you. I would like to come back to the status of the arbiters. The German Chess Federation does not oppose it, but we would like to remind you that organizers and federations have to do a big work in order to follow the regulations of FIDE. By the way, we have to talk about rating fees, tournament, players' ratings, we have registration fee, we have the license now for arbiters, trainers, and international organizers. Now we have this kind of tax for arbiters, later on probably tax for coaches as well. So our proposal is to set up a kind of working group to check all these different kinds of fees and maybe to combine some kind of fees, not in order to spend or to save money, only to save work. And then maybe you can include the proposal of the Dutch Chess Federation, it's Annex 24, I think so, as well, with this license fee. And then maybe, because especially the bigger federations, they have to treat with these issues. They have to contact the organizers, convince them who will pay the taxes, the arbiters, as it is mentioned here, or probably the organizer, or maybe even the federations. So that would be our proposal. Thank you.
First of all, we have created this committee already in Krakow. And so we say in Greece, when you want that you do nothing, you create a committee. So we created in Krakow. We created all this. So it's coming a proposal. We can accept it, we can accept. What you said, of course, to look at all these payments in FIDE, of course, we can do also this. But the main idea in many committees, like trainers committees, it was that with these licenses, I think there are not this kind of license like the trainers for the arbiters. That's why they went to this proposal, because they didn't want to pay anything. They went to this proposal about 10% or whatever from the fee, what they would get. The main idea was that trainers committees, they have enough money to support seminars, to support with new information, books. They are doing a lot of work for the trainers, so the trainers they can improve their level. The same idea came for the arbiters. In order to support the arbiters with new information, seminars, help them to be better, then they need sources to do this. And from there started the discussion, okay, the arbiters they are making an income from their job. Then they should contribute to all this system. And they came all these ideas about payments. You know what is strange to me? When the arbiters are coming and say, okay, this money is very little, let's make the 750 euros 1,500, the 2,300, 4,000, the 2,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, we have payment 7,000 euros. And then when we're asking them, okay guys, you should pay something, they are not ready to pay anything. I mean, this is not all logical also. They are pushing FIDE to increase the fees in our events. I'm sure they're pushing the federation also to increase the fees in the events on a national level. At least this is the situation, let's say, in my country. And then when we're telling them, okay, guys, but you should pay also something to support the system which is going to help you to be better, they are not ready to pay. For me, this is a principle matter. Somehow, they should contribute. How much is another story. But they cannot say, okay, everybody is poor. Okay, everybody is poor. Of course, nobody has anything. But these people, they're making some income because they are international arbiters or FIDE arbiters, because they are arbiters in FIDE events, continental events, or even in their national events. And they are using this tax. So why they should not contribute something to the whole system around this? This is the point that I'm making. Thank you.
I would say that exactly what Mr. Metzger proposed is what we did. after Krakow. We collect all these fees, all these stipends. I repeat it, okay. In all these events, FIDE events, that are in every regulation. We put them in this list, nothing else. We gather all together. This. I agree with you, I mean, the Commission agrees with you regarding what you said about contribution. This is Arbiter's contribution. We want to give this to FIDE in case that we have some, let's say, level, some stipends. I repeat, we know that it's not possible to have these stipends in every tournament all over the world. And we try to give the arbiters the opportunity to negotiate about it. And I repeat that this 100 euros that is referred in this list is referred only to 1,450 tournaments all over the world. The tournaments that can give norms. These tournaments are 1,450 all over the world. Maybe if they give norms, they will be charged with 100. The other tournaments, small tournaments, around robberies, national tournaments, school championships, whatever, they are not charged. Okay, this is out of this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, first of all, I appreciate very much the work that was done by the Arbiter Commission and the help they give to all of us. Have been a very hard work. However, I want to point out several things. There are a lot of seminars, arbiter seminars in America, but those are paid by CCA, and we don't touch the Arbiter Commission budget. Second, I have to back what Mr. Massoud said, because the situation is totally different from one continent to other. Of course, the level, the standard life level in Europe is much higher than in Africa or in America. In America, in those tournaments, the title tournament, national, or what else would be, arbiters are paid very, very low stipends, and I think that it's unfair to charge them saying, okay, you have to contribute with this or this. If they refuse, they will go over the federation, and of course it shall be worse. So I have to think that this can be done in FIDE events, in which arbiters, we know how they are paid, but not in private events in continents. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roger. That is correct.
Laura Barnes.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, I mean that would be a good compromise, that in FIDE, official FIDE events, where there is funding and a budget for quite reasonable arbiter stipends, I would agree that there could be something paid back. But for my colleague to say only 100 euros, this could mean the difference between organising a tournament and not organising a tournament in Britain. I know we're all supposed to be a lot better off than some of the other continents, but really there's no money for chess in the UK. There's no sponsorship, there's very little sponsorship anyway, and no government backing, because we're not a sport.
So actually, what is the proposal, if I understand, is in the tournaments that FIDE pay the arbiters, we should ask them to give us, we should increase double the stipends and ask them to give us 10% back, because this is the situation.
No, I don't agree with that.
What do you mean by FIDE tournament? FIDE-rated tournament?
No, the official...
So the World Championship, that means the tournaments that FIDE pays there. So we increase the money there for them and we ask them 10% back. I mean, so I prefer not to pass a report at all for FIDE. Why we should increase the stipends for that?
Actually, we don't increase any stipends.
No. We should reject the report and then we see what we will do with FIDE.
We don't
Thank you. I know what you say, but it's not like this.
Actually, it's exactly it. The arbiters in FIDE events will lose 10% from this. And this is what...
Takis was not the stipends for the Olympians, for example, was not this that is in this paper. We go back to what we're paying in the past. 2,000, here 1,000, there 500. We go to this. In the past, the arbiters for the Olympians were given $500. We should go to this. If arbiters don't want to pay, why the organizers of FIDE should increase their stipends? We go to this. Let's reject this report. I'm in favor of this then. So, I propose to reject this report. Yes.
Yes, can you microphone? Can you give the gentleman the microphone?
Oh, we don't, as Costa Rica Federation, we do not agree that the Federation has to pay because 100 euros in our country is a very big amount of money. It represents 25% of the regular income for a worker in the Costa Rica area. So 100 euros in Europe might be not a lot of money, but for countries it's a lot of money.
Okay, gentlemen, let's reject the report for all payments. Of course, FIDE also will not going to increase any stipend. We'll go back to what we were paying before. So don't complain next Olympia, the arbiters, when it will be not for such a high level like it would be here. Just we should have a well understanding. It's not possible that our pressing organizers or FIDE is trying its best to increase stipends. At the same time, the arbiters say we don't want to pay anything. Okay, let's reject the idea. We agree? There is any objection? So we reject the whole idea. No problem.
I have a suggestion that information that collected from the arbiters form should include the salary of the arbiter. For the next Congress, we know that in the different country, one arbiter collects how much money and then decide if it is possible to make a tax on that or more different level. So
I don't understand. We have so many arbiters here that they are delegated. Okay, first of all, it's not correct that people that are making their own decision for how much money they are going to be paid by the organizers or FIDE. Somebody else should make this decision. Now, in any case, if they don't want to pay anything, no problem. We cancel completely all these proposals, no discussion, just we go back to the previous time. This is the situation. Because we try all this year to increase the stipends from the arbiters. We have a rate from $400 to $500 to what is today 1,000 and 1,500 euros. But we don't see that they want to contribute anything at the same time. So, let's go back to the previous situation. If you don't want to support your own committee who is trying to increase your income, then what we can do? Nothing. Let's go to where was the situation 5 and 10 years back. Yes, Mr. Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was, recall from Krakow, I was one of the people who opposed this original idea, and I was then invited to work on this subcommittee. And I detect a bit of frustration from the chair that we are not grateful for any stipends that have been increased. I mean, as I understand it, there may have been some increases in this Olympian, and that is wonderful. But in the case of our report, it's only the FIDE calendar events, the World Championship and so on, where these this 10% tax, if you will, has been suggested. And we have not increased anything from what is in the handbook. We've simply taken them from the regulations. So it is costing us 10% from the existing situation as we have now. We don't wish to appear ungrateful whatsoever. But on the contrary, we are making this contribution in such events. I think where it gets difficult is everywhere around the world when we have normed events, the budgets from one place to another vary greatly, and the money available for the arbiters varies accordingly.
Mr. Baum, please check material. You will see that existing stipend 750, and then it's 1,500 the proposal.
We agree that what you've done for the Olympiad is very gracious.
No, I say existing. It's in your list. Existing 750. Proposed stipend 1,500. This is 100% increasement. 100%. It's not 10, it's not 20. And then we're going to the discussion why we should pay 10%. It's okay. I think there's not a reason. I understand that if I'm wrong, correct. I understand the majority is no payment. So let's reject the whole part because we cannot change it. Reject it all. It was a proposal to reject this, to vote for this. So I propose to reject the part who has to do with payments, stipends, taxes, whatever. Do you agree? There's any objection? Okay. So, there is anything else? Yes.
There is some confusion on with me. Does this also imply the license fee? Because we wrote a letter about this.
I was talking about taxes and stipends. I don't know about license fees. Tax can answer to this question. I was clear, I was talking for stipends and taxes on these stipends. I was not talking about any other, I don't know if they are an annual license fee or whatever, I don't know what. Or just to take your title, you should pay license fee. Then I'm not talking for this, to cancel this kind of license.
Okay, that's clear. Is the letter being discussed? Our letter, given the assignment? Because we made a proposal to the General Assembly. It's on the agenda.
So this is the job of the committee to bring this here. It's not.
They sent it back to the General Assembly and then we discussed it in the council.
You didn't discuss this Annex 24 taxes. So what is the recommendation?
Actually, the decision has been taken in Krakow to accept the regulations for arbiters' license and to be valid from the 1st January 2013. We said that, of course, we don't agree with Mr. Hammers, with his, what he says, and we say that the General Assembly, if it wants, he can discuss it again. But for us, there is already a decision in Krakow.
Okay, there is a decision already from Krakow. Of course, in every meeting we can go and discuss the same things. We didn't pass in Krakow, we come here, then we go to Antalya next year. Yes.
I really must insist on this. I wrote a letter to the General Assembly to turn back a position the Executive Board has made. This is possible, and turn down, of course, but it's in the handbook. So I want this to be discussed because what is the meaning of this proposal of mine? In Krakow, we discussed, or Arbiters Council discussed the license system. Now, this was not fully discussed in the Executive Board because the report was accepted, but beforehand there was no, not on the agenda, an item of introducing the license system with license fees. And where we mostly object, what we mostly object is that people who are arbiters, national arbiters, international arbiters, who have a license at this moment, they can act in tournaments, high tournaments, lower tournaments. So there's a right to be an arbiter, they are active, and now they have to buy a license, paying 20 to 300 euro for this license to do the same work as they are doing now. And this is what we want to turn back. That is the letter we wrote. We got written support, also all support from many federations on this subject. So I'd like to have a vote on our letter and proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. So, concerning this, I propose, because the decision has been made already from the Executive Board, this is first of all what we should decide, if we will go to discussion the possibility to change this decision. First of all, this decision. So I propose not to reopen again a discussion for a subject that already we have decided. Because if we follow this policy, then in the next meeting of the executive board, it will come again. Somebody else who thinks that for some reason the decision today was not correct, will bring the same subject again for discussion. And in every assembly, we can have different decisions. It's not possible. Decision that has been made 1 year ago that we bring again to discuss it. So I propose, first of all, not to open this discussion because the decision has been made in the last executive board. Yes, Professor.
Just for clarification, does Mr. Hanna's objection concern the arbiters who are acting already, or does it only concern with future licenses?
People who are at this moment.
So I make a proposal. I have made a proposal to vote for this. Exactly.
Yeah, and I second the proposal.
So we should vote first for this. If we will open the discussion about this letter. So the proposal is that because the decision has been made in the executive board, not to open here discussion. If we decide we want to reopen, of course, we can continue the discussion. So there is a motion, please. There is a motion. First we vote for this, and then we go back. There is a motion. Please, we cannot go out of this. There is a motion. You can read even our new status about it. And so please, there is a motion here. So, who are in favor not to reopen this discussion? The decision has been made by the executive board already. Please, you can raise your cards. Please, raise your cards. Please. Who they want to open again this discussion? Okay. Let's calculate it. We should count. We want 2 people to count. We want 2 people to count, please. Okay, 1 and 2. So again, I start. Yes, one should count one of the wings, the other one. Israel. You count this one, you don't count the other one. So again, who are in favor not to open against this discussion? They are raising against hands now. Please raise your hand.
Please do it like this. I count here.
How many there? More there. Yes, I count. You will see. Please, raise your hands again here. Please raise your hands. Again.
No, but all together, not you are. Please raise the now.
Yeah.
1.
I don't know here.
Here 19. In my section 19.
And how many here? You count this? You count this? You count this? You don't count it?
19.
And 32.
51.
Okay. Now, who are in favor to discuss this matter?